We really do appreciate you joining us today here on America's Retirement Headquarters, home of the Retirement Guys Formula and America's Medicare Associates. Pleased to be joined this week by Nolan Baker, Scott Kirshner, and Chaz Price. 419-794-3030 is the phone number. It's 419-794-3030 online, arhq.com. Gentlemen, there was an article from Wallet Hub that gives us a list of the most sinful cities of 2022 based on factors like violent crime, excessive drinking, and adult entertainment clubs. Not really surprised that Las Vegas is ranked number one, followed by St. Louis, Philadelphia, Houston, Atlanta, my hometown, making a sign there. But it's not all bad news. The story also talked about charitable giving, at which cities gave the most. And while many of us, put off donations until the end of the year, really charitable feeling during the holidays, how can we do a better job of setting up contributions if we're so inclined throughout the year in 2023?
Well, I do think, as somebody who's the board president for a charitable organization, I work really closely with Hooves.
Mm-hmm.
I would say that is, my experience of working with that organization is a big part of those donations do come in towards the end of the year. And I think people, do want to be actively more involved in, helping out organizations, not just financially at the end of the year, but maybe throughout the year and building into part of their overall plan. We have done a lot of great things on our show here with our what's called Committed to the 419 section. And if you look at some of the updates, like Let's Build Beds, Mike Horvath and his company and his group of Army of Volunteers, they have gotten, I think, nearly 2,000 children in the Toledo area off the ground into beds with their program. And they're building beds all the time. So they're looking for volunteers to help build beds. They're looking for volunteers who want to donate pillows and blankets to guys who want to get the drills and hammers and put the beds together. Hooves, if you look at what we're doing in Hooves, as we had started this section here, I had heard the 180th Air Wing kind of flying overhead. We at Hooves use rescue horses to rescue veterans. If you missed the news, we are just launching a program where we're going to save 5 more wild Mustangs. So the state of California has rounded up wild horses.
Sure.
And the conditions of these wild horses are just not acceptable. It's, we wouldn't want those conditions for our veterans, nor do we want these conditions for our wild horses. Mm-hmm. We're taking a road trip and driving out to California. We're going to rescue 5 of the wild horses, and we need, help from volunteers to, not only fund that journey to go out and pick them up, cover the cost of the different animals, but also, help them with the treatment of when they get home. We have a lot of retreats for our veterans coming up. April, we've got an event. May, June, July, August, September, October. We've got an event if you're a veteran, a first responder, or a caregiver, and you'd like to attend one of the retreats. Those would be things to do. Now, I keep talking, I'd say, from the microphone and from the rooftop about ways that people can get involved in charitable organizations. I think there's super powerful things that people can do. One of the ways, wouldn't you agree, Chaz, is that for those people who are philanthropic minded and they're after the age 72, so their required minimum distribution, or 73, again, depends on when you look at the rule changes, isn't there some things that they could do with the required minimum distributions?
Yeah, when you get to that age, the required minimum distribution age, then that allows you to start donating from your IRA and your pre-tax investments tax-free, essentially. So it allows you to donate money directly to one of those organizations or the hundreds of great other organizations that are charitably inclined here in Toledo, and avoid having to pay taxes. So where we on those distributions. So where we see that come into play is, when we're talking about a financial plan, and which does involve estate planning and charitable donations for some clients, if they're donating money out of their checking account on a monthly basis, let's say, it may be a lot better to, forestall having donations come from your checking account, which is after tax, and then have us set up a, either periodic or lump sum distribution directly to the organization at the end of the year.
And as we talked about earlier in the beginning section, we talked about the new law changes that just got passed at the end of the year. It's called the Secure Act 2.0. Mm-hmm. There's also new rules for qualified charitable distributions. So not only what you're talking about, Chaz, in addition, beginning in this year, 2023, individuals have a one-time opportunity to use qualified charitable distributions to fund charitable remainder unit trust, charitable remainder annuity trust, or a charitable gift annuity. It's up to $50,000. Index for inflation can be directed using the one-time distribution option if a qualified or directed to what is called a CRUD or CRAT. And again, I know a lot of this stuff gets kind of confusing. I'd say the thing to remember is if you are philanthropic minded, whether it's naming a charity as part of your beneficiary on your IRA or donating on an ongoing basis through your required minimum distribution, or doing even something bigger like what we're talking about there, there's ways and there's new rules that went into effect this year that can help you make sure that you can be able to have the impact and be able to do things where your charitable giving is all year long. And even for those of you who maybe don't have the financial resources, I just know a lot of the charitable organizations love actual volunteers of your time and talents to help out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not really amazing. I was going to say it was amazing, but it's not really amazing if you really look at people as a whole. I mean, they're very generous. I mean, I run into a lot of people that are very, very generous around the community, and if they believe in a particular organization, like Hooves, for example, there's a lot of people that donate their time and their treasure, to Hooves. But I find that if people believe in a cause, they're more than willing and able to help people out, and it's really comforting to see, especially when you see all the negativity, the across the TV and different negative press and things like that. It's good to see that there are good people out there really helping out.
Yeah, and even if you don't have a charity in mind, I know this, you may not. Let's say, for instance, you're a business owner and you're getting ready to retire and you're expecting to have a big capital gain or a tax event that you really would like to offset as a secondary benefit, of donating funds to charities. You also, receive a tax deduction, as we talked about, but you may not have an organization that you would want to donate $100,000 to all up front. So one of the advantages that we have access to through Charles Schwab is what we call donor advised funds. And donor advised funds are essentially investment accounts that you can invest and donate a portion of money to, and at that point of donation, that is when the tax benefit applies. So in the previous example, if you're a business owner retiring, you donate $100,000 to help avoid a capital gain or to offset a particular capital gain. And then over time, you're able to do grants from that donor advised fund. So you could donate, as much money as you wanted, how often you wanted, and then benefit lots of charities. But the main advantage is, you're donating and you're getting a tax benefit all up front, but you don't have to give all $100,000 or
Sure.
the entire amount all at once to one organization.
A key word that the guys said there when it comes to making these qualified charitable distributions specifically is the word directly. You want to make sure that the money goes directly to the organization. It doesn't touch your hands first, because at that point, you're going to have to pay taxes on it. But there are ways to do it where you avoid paying taxes on it. The charity gets more of it. Uncle Sam gets less of it. It's a win all around. But to figure out the right way to go about doing that, to negotiate that, to navigate these donations, whether it is one time or whether it is throughout the year, pick up the phone, give a call. See how it factors into your retirement plan. 419-794-3030 is that phone number. Once again, 419-794-3030. You can go online, Americasretirementheadquarters.com. Don't forget a lot of great educational events coming up in the next couple months. You can find out more information about those, including how to go ahead and register, reserve your space, arhq.com.